With the solar eclipse happening this past week, daytime turned into darkness really quickly depending on where you were in the world, and a roller coaster experience can change drastically depending on the time of day that you ride it. But what time provides the best coaster experience? Let's find out. Starting off with morning rides, there aren't many positives to riding a roller coaster at this time. The main positive to morning rides is that in most cases, getting to an amusement park early and riding these coasters in the morning means that the wait times won't be too long. However, in some cases, like if you were at a park like Cedar Point, then the wait times would still be quite long. But for the most part, wait times are at a minimum in the morning. However, in all of this, the negatives kind of outweigh the positives in this category, including the fact that the ride hasn't quite warmed up to its fullest potential yet, because of the fact that the ride hasn't had the chance to run through that many cycles. This causes the ride to feel much slower in the morning than it does later in the day. Earlier in the morning also typically means more chances of breakdowns, excluding weather delays, because it hasn't run much yet. So overall, morning rides probably aren't the greatest option. Next are midday rides. Now, when it comes to riding a roller coaster at around noon, there aren't many positives or negatives to each. And if I'm being completely honest, riding coasters at noon can be kind of mundane. The rides aren't as slow as the morning, but they definitely aren't as fast as later in the day. Not only that, but noon can typically be a pretty busy time for theme parks, and wait times tend to be quite long during midday. So honestly, there isn't much to say about noon rides, as there's nothing that really sticks out about them in my opinion, good or bad. On to the next. Afternoon rides are generally similar to midday rides, but sunset rides are where it starts to get really good. Obviously, they're not as dark as night rides, but the views that you can get on most rides during sunset are absolutely amazing. And the forces are just about as good as night rides, as it's likely that by this time, the coaster has been running for hours on end prior to dusk. I don't know how to really explain it, but when you ride a roller coaster during sunset, it feels straight out of a movie, and definitely in a good way. But that leaves one final category for riding roller coasters, and that is night rides. Night rides are objectively insane, no matter the ride. Well, scratch that. If you're riding a kiddie coaster, then maybe not. But there's no doubt that any other roller coaster experience is elevated to a new extreme when riding at night. This is partially due to the fact that the ride is usually running at its top speed by dark, as it has most likely been running for most of, if not the entire day already. However, the best aspect of night rides is arguably the darkness of the surrounding environment. This leads to an unpredictable ride experience, especially if it's a first-time ride. I absolutely love night rides, and I honestly haven't seen an enthusiast who doesn't. So, what's truly the best time to ride a roller coaster? Well, if I were to base this video off of my own personal opinion, then I'd honestly say sunset rides. However, we all know that the objectively best time to ride roller coasters is in the morning. I'm just kidding. I don't think there's an enthusiast who wouldn't pick the nighttime. Night rides are on a completely different level in terms of insanity and out-of-body experiences. It can vary depending on the ride, but the common consensus for most coasters is that night rides are the greatest. So, what do you think is the best time to ride a roller coaster? Comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.